maybe get a little bit technical into what's different about the way you guys approach sharding and talk about why you did that and what that unlocks, what that, creates for Near.
For sure, yeah. So kind of there's a bunch of folks and still are who are understand that you cannot build a bigger machine to process all the transactions in the world. And so the way to solve that is, to run more stuff in parallel. And so there's kind of a spectrum from something like Cosmos, where you say, well, you can run your chain and I can run our chain, and they're completely independent and run stuff in parallel, and we're good, and we just have, hundreds of such chains, and that's how we scale. And then we have bridges and stuff, and we've seen some of this interesting stuff happening this week or last week about how that interacts, but kind of that's one model. Then there's a model which I will call rollups. There's a little bit like differences how this works, but it's this idea of, hey, we have kind of a common security model, so we all align on the security here, which might have helped with some of the situation that happened last week. But each kind of application or maybe set of applications have their own zone, app chain, rollup, parachain, call it C chain, whatever you want, right? There's so many names. Somebody on Twitter actually asked to like, hey guys, can you unify this?
No, the short answer is no.
And so the idea there is kind of on one side, like, hey, we scale, but we can, have a common security, so we are able to communicate between these things. And so how common security implemented is very different for different of this, like rollups versus parachains. But the user experience is the same, is that you need to think as a user, where the hell are your funds? Where is the app? Are they on the same things, on different things? Can you move them? How long does it take? Like, are you going this way or this, like through the security level or like directly because there's some like other application to move it directly? Like there's so much complexity that user need to think about, right? And at least you don't need to think about security, which you do need in Cosmos, but it's still a lot of complexity on the user, right? And right now we see that, right? There's Arbitrum, there's Optimism, there's like multiple EVM chains in Polkadot ecosystem. And like you don't know, like you need to like look up which application, like which one is where, like, oh, is my wallet configured as the right thing, like switched and move, bridge, etc. And so sharding kind of as a concept, I mean, all of this is sharding to be clear, but kind of general sharding concepts from Web2 is just like you shard kind of underneath the user, right? You don't expose user to the way you model your database. And so that's kind of where we've been aiming for. This is, to be clear, where ETH2 originally was planning to go. They have abandoned that path. And so, and at the same time, like there you have multiple ways to implement this, but at least the way we have, like we actually implemented multiple ways. And so this is the way that actually works. From a user perspective, from a developer perspective, it's one chain. You don't need to think about sharding. You don't need to think about like how things are happening under the hood. You have, blocks produced, you interact with smart contracts, you have wallet, you have one account. It's invisible for you. What underneath happens is that we actually shard the blocks. So we don't have multiple blockchains running in parallel, we actually shard blocks. And so because of this, we can actually change number of shards dynamically. So this is actually like in our roadmap, kind of probably toward end of this year, beginning of next year, is right now you need a governance to change the number of shards, but you can actually change it dynamically based on the demand. Like if there's some more demand, we can actually move some contracts and accounts to different shards and like allow them to have more capacity to process.
Seems very elegant.
Very complicated to implement, but
Well,
yes.
yeah, everything elegant is very complicated.
Yeah, but it allows to have like a very kind of straightforward model for the user. And so the example of this being when we actually changed, so we launched with one shard because, well, you didn't need more than one shard when you launch. And so we actually resharded to 4 shards through governance in November last year. And there's zero change to the user or developer, right? Like literally you did not even notice something happened, like it's still running. And the thing is, like we kind of even don't need to show it in tooling. Like if you want to see the shards, you actually need to like hit with like raw RPC calls to the, to get block information. Like on explorers, on wallets, etc., you don't see the shards at all because like it doesn't matter, right? And we probably like the layout will change, which shard you're on will change, all of this will change, like, but none of it actually matters. So that's kind of how we've been kind of structuring this, and it is a very elegant design, which took us sadly a year to do, to come to. We have this old papers we've published, which have three different designs before we got to this. But yeah, it allowed us to kind of already deliver this like capacity, and also kind of continue expand as usage grows, but also kind of through that journey, we figured out how to have a very fast consensus, which is able to finalize blocks and actually finalize BFT finality in 2 seconds, kind of with 1 second blocks, by really pipelining all of the communication, and really speeding up what Tendermint with Cosmos is doing, and kind of like Polkadot, Tendermint, and Ghost. They're all somewhat in the same space of BFT finality consensuses, and they all have this kind of a extra reliance on communication. And Doomflag, the near consensus, actually is doing everything pipelined, meaning the communication is always happening forward. And so by the time you produce next block, you already know that you finalized the last block because you received those approvals in when everything works correctly. And so that allows to kind of really fast track this.